Hello, all, and welcome to another Sanctuary Sunday. Sanctuary! Yes, the day where I cover something other than war games. Today, because the Stanley Cup Playoffs are on, I thought I would continue my sports series because nothing is more relaxing than some sports on a Sunday. And today, well, this isn't a very relaxing sport, but we're going to take a look at hockey. I'm not going to cover all my hockey games, but I'm going to cover, some of my favorite hockey games, and some of the games I've encountered over the years, collected over the years, and played over the years. And I'm going to work my way up to my favorite. These are not necessarily in, ascending order. I'm just saving the best for last. So first off, we'll take a look at Slapshot. Now this is the Columbia Games edition. I don't think Slapshot originally came out with Columbia Games, but actually I think it might. It's Tom Daglish, so he's of Columbia Games. So maybe Slapshot did come out with Columbia Games originally, but this is not a very deep hockey sim. This is a fun game, and I've always enjoyed playing Slapshot. You're basically it's basically organized war, the whole game of war where you're kind of comparing numbers. But you're going to set up a lineup, and then whoever has the higher number is going to win. But some of the characters or players might have some abilities, but more importantly, the goalie, can kind of block a shot. But you have forwards, defenders, and goalies, and it's not a deep game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not a bad game for a group of players. It plays up to six, and you can kind of play a whole season and go into the playoffs, and it doesn't take that long of a time. I mean, there's a whole way of how you recruit players on your team and trade, and there's a little bit of take that where you can steal players from other players or draw stuff out of their hand, and kind of build your team that way. But good, fun game. Emphasis on fun. Sim value relatively low there. Moving next to another card game is Power Play team building card game. Now this is a deck builder, and so this came out. This was Cryptozoic, who are known for getting onto IPs and picking up different IPs and doing stuff with them, and they had a whole series of deck building games, and they kind of took their deck building engine and pasted a hockey theme over it, and it's not a bad game. It was fun to play if you like deck builders. Again, it's not high on the sim value as far as simulating real hockey, but or having a statistical realism. And when we're talking about sports games, more often than not, especially the team games like baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, statistical realism is always is kind of a thing, right? Is always something that you're trying to recreate because you're wanting to replay that season. You want to see if Babe Ruth can hit 60 home runs, or if Wayne Gretzky can score 62 goals, or what have you. So the statistical realism is always kind of an underlying part of the simulation when it comes to sports games for a lot of people, that play sports games. This one really doesn't have that. I mean, there are players represented in this game. Players from this time period or this season were represented, but this was a deck builder. So I mean, they had some relation to their abilities during that year, but this was more about the gameplay or the mechanic. Now, what kind of killed this is I don't think they came out with any expansions. You had this core set, and of course, you got a promo inside here. But I don't know if they ever came out with expansions. I picked this up, on I think off a clearance shelf. But I don't think I ever really found any other expansions to it. So it kind of died on the vine there. I don't know if it just didn't have the excitement, or the expansions just didn't get the attention or what have you. But if they had any expansions, but this kind of was an interesting mechanism. I thought, if they had gotten some expansions, that probably could have had a little bit of staying power. But as it was, it's just what you get in the box here. So still playable, but limited. Next, I have APBA hockey. Now, APBA had their whole series of games. Of football. I think of football and baseball and basketball and stuff, and I picked up the hockey one and took a look at that. And this is more of a statistical simulation, right? This is getting to what I was talking about before, where you're going to have a season, it's going to have the stats from that season, and you're trying to recreate to some kind of statistical relevance that season and play it that way. So, and this, I got this later on. I mean, this is, since 1951. I picked this up, much later in life, and played a little bit of it, but never got into it, never, invested in getting teams and seasons and leagues and all that stuff. So, haven't played a lot of APBA, played a little bit of this when I got it, but this was just kind of a one-time buy kind of thing. I wanted to try it out. I thought it was interesting. I thought it had some good ideas, but by that time I had kind of moved on from hockey a little bit, and so it just didn't stick for me. But I think a lot of people swear by this, by the APBA games in general, but by APBA hockey, God, it's hard for me to say if I keep saying it that much. But so this is more into the statistical, relevance or realism type mode. Now we come to my favorite of all time. I've got a soft spot for Stratomac hockey. That was my go-to baseball game. Also played Stratomac football, and did not get into Stratomac basketball. That was an interesting thing. I went Status Pro, Avalon Hill, and Status Pro for basketball, but hockey was a sweet spot. And I got into hockey. Growing up as a kid, I never really watched a lot of hockey. It wasn't on. The team from my hometown moved to New Jersey, so when I was real little, so I never really got a chance to really follow hockey. And the hockey that I did follow from time to time was minor league hockey. My hometown always had a minor league team from time to time, and other towns I lived in had minor league hockey. But didn't get into it much. But then when I was in grad school, I really got into it, and I had some friends that were really big on hockey, and was watching. I started watching hockey, and to kind of kill some time and relieve some stress from studies. And we ended up doing a hockey league. I ended up buying this, and then we did a whole hockey league, and that got me into hockey. And so I had a brief spurt into hockey, and after graduation, I played this a little bit more and kept messing with it. But again, I kind of burned out on it, right? Because I didn't have that support group of rabid hockey fans to kind of spur me on. And then, I end up, moving to places that didn't have professional hockey, and, would pick up minor league and go to some games now and again. But I just didn't have that, constant, influence of, hey, there's a professional hockey game, professional hockey team down the road, and I can go watch the game or become a fan, a local fan on it. And so I'd watch it on TV, and I'd try to catch it when I can. And hockey has always had a kind of a weird history of fighting to get TV time, and it's on, and of course the fighting kind of pushed it away, and then right when it had a chance to take over the TV, there was a baseball strike, and there was a basketball, I think, lockout, and then hockey did a strike. So I mean, hockey's had some tough times and tough timing throughout its history of trying to latch on to stuff. But Stratomac hockey, I really like this game. Your cards had the cards you play with are, let's get the board out here. The board is just a board. It's a nice thick board, though. Real good thick board there. But that was just a kind of a placeholder to put your cards. And you had some markers on there to keep track of offenses and defenses, stuff like that, or forecheckers. But your cards, you had statistics. It was kind of based on the whole uh, Stratomax system. You're rolling 2 dice and adding them up, so you got the 2 to 12 on here. So the sweet spot is 7. And you had these different areas that you're going to refer to depending upon what was taking place in the game. And it had like a fax action deck or a split deck, I think is what they call, where you flip it over and it had multiple things that are going on, and depending on where you're at in the game or the strategy and stuff, it told you what to do. And then you want to get a goal shot. When you get a goal shot, you rolled in here, and this was kind of the sweet spot of the card. But the players had offensive ratings, defensive ratings, penalty ratings, breakaways. Their skating, face-off, all kinds of different statistics, and it was based on the statistics of that season. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it, and then I actually kind of blinged these out a little bit. So I even made separate cards, for deck holders, because I used rubber bands. I know that's a sin, but you got forgive me. But I'd made these old team holders for all the different teams. And then like this year was the year the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. So had to get a Stanley Cup sticker there. So I used the Panini stickers on it. So so I really kind of blinged this out. So like for this season here, I went and found the Panini stickers. So you had the could put their sticker with their stats on it right there. So you got to see the guy, you got to see the player, which was kind of cool, because normally they just come like this. You got Stratomatic and you got the stats on one side, but or the playing stats on one side, and it's just an image on there. But with this, I could put the Panini stickers on there. And, it just kind of brought, there's a goalie card there. It just kind of brought it to life. It made it, it reminded me of old, collecting baseball cards and football cards, and looking at the stats on here. And I could just put the little stickers on there, and it had the stats and everything. And I did that for more than one season. This was the season that came with the box. I bought you can buy a full season when you buy the hockey game, and then you can buy other seasons or other teams over time. And of course I had to get the infamous Oilers, with that killer line that had, there was almost a whole Hall of Fame team there. But Paul Coffey, I always liked Paul Coffey there. But so anyway, so that's another reason why I kind of liked Stratomatic, because not only did it have this somewhat of a statistical realism, but it also I could bling it out a little bit and kind of make it my own, and kind of really make this a presentable game. Something that really gave me the feel of the game. With looking at the pictures and everything like that. So anyway, so there you have it. Those are the hockey games I wanted to bring to you on Sanctuary Sunday. The Stanley Cup Playoffs are going on now, so I thought this was fitting to cover on a Sanctuary Sunday, and to continue on with my trip through sports memory lane. But love to know what you think. What's your go-to hockey game? Did you play Stratomatic hockey? Do you like that? Are you an AP BA hockey fan? Did you ever even try Power Play? And surely you've played Slapshot, and I'll stop calling you Shirley. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Love to know that, the best way I know you stopped by is give me some comments. Let me know what you think about any of these games. Or, what am I missing? I've played other hockey games and have some other ones, but these are the ones I thought I'd highlight today. But let me know what I missed. Let me know which games what's your go-to hockey games, and what you enjoy, what you enjoyed in the past, or what you still enjoy today. Thanks all. Have a good one. Hello all! You didn't think I'd be done that quick. No, that was only the first few periods. We're going into overtime. Let's take a little bit of a deeper dive, or take a slap shot at the other games in this collection that I wanted to share with you. First is Slapshot. And as I said before, Slapshot is basically kind of a glorified war type game, where you're going to be comparing the values against the opponents that are matched up against them. You've got goalies, defensemen, and forwards, although the goalies do have some special abilities to stop any shots. And then there's this whole rules of how to do games, and you get, as you get wins, you move on up, and then only certain people might make it to the playoffs. So that is Slapshot. As I said, it's more of a tongue-in-cheek and very much a playable game, not so big on the simulation value. Then we have Power Play. Well, Power Play, as I said, is a deck builder. This is what you get in the box. There's a stand for this, is where you put the goalies, and really that's what you're trying to go up against. You're going to go up against increasingly tougher goalies. And again, this is a deck builder, so you're going to be, going to have some starting cards that you're going to start out in your deck, and then you're going to have the ability to buy better cards in your deck and to try to score against the goalie. You also have these captains. These are a little bit thicker cards, and these captains kind of give you a special ability for your whole team, and so they kind of modify the entire. There's one captain per player, and that's going to modify all the cards or give you a special ability for the whole. For your whole team. Then these are some of the starter cards here. That's the cost card to buy these, but then this gives +1 power, and there's all kinds of different. I got a tangled on the boards in there, but you'll start off with so many of these starter cards, and then you got some of these. This is a starter card tangle on the board, and it's typical of a deck builder. You're going to have some starting cards, and then you're going to build with better cards. There's a +2 power, of course that. Costs 3 to buy, so that's something that's going to be out there that you can buy at any time. And then you've got all these other cards which are tied to specific players, or at least abilities. Like this is attacker, maneuver, defender, and the like, and they have different skills and stuff. And and some of these are tied to players. Well, all of them are tied to players. So there you have it. This is a deck builder, and with the hockey theme, and again, very playable, especially if you like deck builders. Not so big on the sim value as it's kind of pasted onto a previous existing deck builder engine. Plus, there's no support for this. They didn't come out with a bunch of expansions like that would be needed to keep this viable. Then we have APBA Hockey. And this is kind of the base game. It came with this really nice little cup here. I don't have very many dice cups, but I got one now. And then you got a board here, a little bit thicker paper with the hockey rink to keep track of stuff on there. And the rule book is really nice. It's spiral bound and really thick. I mean, the pages are not your typical paper. They're all like what you would see on a player aid type of paper. And you've got some charts, got all kinds of matchup charts in there, and all the charts that you need to play the game in here. And this was kind of a base set for the game, and just came with a few teams. Like I had Edmonton 83-84, which is a pretty doggone good team. And then there's a sample of a player card there. Let's get a Gretzky. Did I flip over the Gretzky? Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, so there's an example of the cards there. And you see 11 to 66, so you're kind of rolling the old 2 dice, and then like that would be, if you're reading the red first, that'd be 35. So that's how that works. I don't know, kind of cool there. Anyway, so there's a Gretzky right there. And you use the charts in the game and with these cards, and that's how you play the game. So this didn't come with, this is all the cards that I have for this. So this is really more of a initial offering to the game, and you could buy seasons for this, and really go to town, much like Stratomatic and some other hockey games. So there you have it. That's what I want to go a little bit deeper dive into some of these, so you can see what's inside the box. I think you can probably tell what my favorite one was. That was Stratomatic. But these are all good. I played all these and had fun with them. I just didn't get into APBA and Power Play. I just did not get into as much as Stratomatic. And Slapshot, I'll play that, at a drop of a puck. That's that's a good kind of even a party game of sorts if for 6 players. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Thanks so much for stopping by and staying for the overtime, because I just wanted to show you a little bit more what's inside the box. Thanks. Thanks for watching.